Okay, ladies first. Let's head to the front row.
Chivalry, ladies.
Oh, Denise, Salcedo, Instinct Culture. Rock, it's been several years since you have been in the ring getting physical in an actual matchup. I want to start off by asking you how you're feeling right now coming off of that main event.
I feel great. Body feels great. I just had the time of my life. And I put in a lot of work. We had a hell of a training camp, which lasted probably about 10 to 12 weeks. And I wanted to make sure that I was as prepared as I possibly could be. These guys who I wrestled with tonight, as you guys know, they're the best in the world and on the planet. And I wanted to make sure that I came in game ready and ring ready as best I can. As you guys know, it's impossible to simulate what happens in the ring. You can run your training camps. I had a ring set up and flown to Hawaii where we were at and where I spent a lot of my time with my family, where we live. A ring in California too as well. There was a ring in Georgia to make sure that around every corner and everywhere that I went, the first quarter of this year, there was a ring. Flew in a lot of wrestlers who were really amazing and willing to work their asses off to just make sure that I was prepared. So we went out there. I enjoyed every second of that, and I've been a lucky guy over the years to have participated in some pretty cool things that have been very gratifying. There's nothing like performing at WrestleMania in front of thousands and thousands of people. And there's nothing like performing with your fellow pro wrestlers.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thanks guys.
That it? Nope. Okay, fourth row.
Mark Raimondi, ESPN. Dwayne, it has been a very long time since we've seen you. Is this it? Do you plan on doing more? When can we see you again? I know obviously there's tomorrow night, but will there be more big matches for The Rock coming in the near future?
There might be. Can't elaborate that much on that, but there might be. I love what I do, and I love our business, and I was born into our business, as you guys know, so we'll see.
Rock in the middle here, Chris Vanini, The Athletic, Getting Over Wrestling Podcast. This was the first WrestleMania without Vince McMahon. What do you think of the job Triple H has done, and anything about the state of the company?
I think that Triple H has done a tremendous job as our Chief Creative Officer. I think that's his title. He has a few, earned every single one of them. I like ushering in new things and new times and new eras, and it feels like in our world here of professional wrestling, it is a new era that we're ushering in. I talked to Paul Levesque, Triple H, earlier as we were kicking off the show tonight, and without giving any detail on what we talked about, like it's a special night for him. This was the beginning of something and marking the beginning of something new for him under his creative. And I think from a company standpoint, this is an exciting time for the company, for WWE. It's an exciting time for TKO. You felt the convergence towards the end of the year when the acquisition happened. You felt the convergence in the first quarter of the year as I was fortunate enough to come back, and as we kind of traversed our way through what these storylines could look like. And so it's an exciting time. And I think we capped off day one of WrestleMania, this WrestleMania that we had stated was going to be the biggest of all time, which is really saying a lot, obviously, considering, given the givens, and how many great WrestleManias there's been in the past. So I thought that we collectively, as a company and as a team, put out a really good show tonight. And the best part about putting out a great show tonight is you get to do it all over again tomorrow.
Second row.
Hey, Rock, Daniel Trainer from Us Weekly here. Question for you. it's no secret that tonight was a long time coming. I think there have been some stories about some stops and starts that led to tonight. Roman was out here earlier saying that it takes a lot to get a guy like you, with everything that you have going, to commit the amount of time that it took for you to come back. Was there a specific moment that you said, now is the time? Was there a promo? Was there a match? Was the bloodline in general that inspired you to say, WrestleMania 40, this time right now is when I'm going to actually do it?
Yes, there was. When Ari Emanuel called and said, hey, I'm going to buy the company. I said, okay. What does that strategy look like? And we had discussed that. There was talks almost 2 years ago about me returning to WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles. Again, it felt like everything was going to dovetail nicely into that. It's a great story. That didn't shake out in the way that we had anticipated, and that's okay. I had said back then to the people who we were negotiating with, maybe it's time to put the pencils down and we'll revisit when it feels right. So I think between putting the pencils down about a year and a half, 2 years ago regarding WrestleMania 39, the clear shift of, and the actuality of the selling of the company, I think that kind of became the impetus to really look, I think, holistically at the opportunity of doing WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, and a lot of things had to come together. And sure, the agreement and the deal, I'm not worried about that, especially when the negotiations are between myself, Ari Emanuel, and Nick Khan, both of whom I've known for a very, very long time. Nick and I actually go back to Hawaii when we were kids, and Ari I've known for over 20 years. He's my lead agent and business partner, so I wasn't concerned about the agreement. I was more so, my number one priority was, can I come back and add real value this time around, and not, coming back for hot shots one at a time. Maybe I make an appearance one night. That's fun. It's fun for the fans, but I wanted something a little bit more, a lot more substantial, and not only a lot more substantial, but something that we can really build upon. And so these past 2-3 months, I think we've been laying groundwork nicely, and not only building for WrestleMania this weekend, but also I think beyond that, and building for the future and what that could look like.
One final question.
Let's do two.
2 final questions.
Okay, that sounds better.
Hey Rob, thanks for taking the time. Graham Matthews with Bleacher Report. Going off everything you just said, talking about, coming back, doing something you haven't done before, the pivot obviously has been talked about a lot this week, Rock and Roman being the original main event, seeing what we're seeing now.
Sure.
Just talk about how you guys have handled that, and what we would have seen originally, with you talking about, before the pivot even happened, just mentioning how this is going to be something that, like you just mentioned, not just coming back for one shots.
Right.
I mean, this is something that you really want to kind of reinvent the wheel. We're seeing that now, but if Ari doesn't buy the company and that sort of stuff, what does this Rock run, or what does this Rock return look like?
Well, one of the many benefits of this world of professional wrestling, I believe, is you have the opportunity to not only hear the fans, but more importantly than hearing the fans is listening to the fans. Because to me, there's a distinct difference between hearing and listening. And then the other part, and perhaps the most important part, is then take action. And so with the pivot that you're talking about, it was an opportunity in front of us. So when I came back, the goal was to come back, and it was going to be The Rock and Roman Reigns. That was the idea. This was back in, I think I made an appearance on SmackDown. We were in Colorado, third quarter of last year. And the idea was to start setting the table of a Rock and Roman WrestleMania main event, WrestleMania 40. So as we continued to stand everything up on its feet, we realized that we had an opportunity to listened to the fans, one of two things could have happened. We could have either trucked through it, which there were a few opinions in the room. Hey, of course we've titled them the Cody Crybabies, which is, fun branding, but the truth is they matter, and fans matter, and their voice matters. And we had this opportunity to really listen to them again. So one of two things could have happened. We could have either trucked through it or listened. And in this case, it became crystal clear to me after Birmingham, Alabama, where we had that moment in the ring. If you guys may remember, I came in, Cody, in essence, passed the opportunity on to me. Roman and I had that face-off. And it was just a few days after that I was in Hawaii, and I remember waking up and going, I think I have what this pivot should be. And that is not only listen to the fans, but let's give them what they want, what they've invested in for the past couple of years now, which is this idea of Cody Rhodes completing his story. But then the B-side to that, the exciting part for me, number one, was to deliver something for the fans, but also, now let's make a change, and let's go Rock 10.0, and what that looks like, and what Final Boss looks like, and let's take the agreement and the deal of the appointment of the board as a director, the ownership of the name The Rock and all that goes along with it. Let's utilize that and leverage that in a real way, and that real influence and power, and inject it into the storyline as Final Boss. So bottom line is, I couldn't be happier with not only the pivot, but more importantly, everybody buying in to that, because it's a big shift and you got to buy into it. And everybody did, and here we are. Yeah, man. Thank you.
Final question for the Final Boss.
Emily May with Sportskeeda Wrestling. Tomorrow, night 2, WrestleMania 40, Bloodline rules. What can we expect? We know the Bloodline is vast. Can we expect any surprises?
You can. You can. What's your name?
Emily.
Emily. Yeah, Emily. Absolutely. Final Boss can't tell you that. I can't tell everybody that. I got to keep everybody guessing, including Cody Rhodes. That's important. So, yeah, great question. You can sure expect the unexpected and a lot of surprises. Appreciate you taking a swing. Take a shot at it. What can we expect? You have a question? Yeah. Sure.
In 2003, you had a moment where the rundown came out, and in that, you had a moment with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Where he basically passed the torch.
He said, have fun.
He said, have fun. And that was a moment for you when you were basically taking on the opportunity to become the next great action star.
Yeah.
And now you've gotten to the point where you're older than he was at that point. And it doesn't feel like you're passing the torch. It feels like you're entering a new kind of stratosphere. And you also have like an opportunity to do a movie with A24. And it feels like you're transitioning into this whole new era, not just Rock 10.0, but Dwayne Johnson feels like you're developing differently. Can you kind of talk about just how you feel like the last couple of years have been for you, and what caused you to kind of make this new transition this late into your career?
I can, yes. It's a great question. I realized that you're very attuned, by the way. That's a great question. And then we can wrap it up. I know everybody's tired, and I need a cheat meal and some tequila. A couple of years ago, to the T, actually, I started to realize, I started to look at my career and look where I had been lucky enough to go, and look to where I do want to go as I move forward in our crazy lives. And I realized then a couple of years ago that I had reached a point in my life, in a position where, again, I'm very lucky, very fortunate. I work hard. I believe in hard work, a little bit of luck, and surrounding yourself with people who are a lot smarter than I am, which isn't hard to do. And I realized that I was lucky enough to be on a mountaintop. A few things could happen. I could either be satisfied, or ride off into the sunset, or kind of just ride the success I've been able to have, and we'll see how it all shakes out. Or the other option, I didn't like any of those options. The other option that I realized I want to do is, I want to go make new mountain, and I want to go make more mountain. And what does that look like? And who does that? Who can I partner with, and who can I build? And in that, you mentioned A24. We're shooting that movie with Benny Safdie. We're going to start very soon, next month, with Emily Blunt too as well, and A24, as you had said. It's called The Smashing Machine. I look forward to that, and I look forward to, in any, whether it's in Hollywood or any vertical of business, it's just building new mountain. That's where I'm at in my life, and that's where I'm at in my career. So this Final Boss idea and run, I don't want it to be finite. I want it to continue. And so this is all part Final Boss of building new mountain with a company that I love, that's in my blood and in my DNA, in WWE, and in a world that I love, this professional wrestling. But same thing applies to Hollywood, and same thing applies to all this other stuff that I'm lucky enough to do. I also realized a couple of years ago that I want to make sure, I've reached this point in my life where, and we all get there, whether we're there already or whether you're gonna get there, is I want to make sure that when I'm waking up in the morning, the thing that I'm doing, I'm loving it and I'm running towards it. I want to wake up and run towards it. I don't want to wake up and kind of get pulled towards it and go, oh man, I got to do that shit. Which, again, we've all been there. But, so that's the point I'm at in my life. So, the A24, the Smashing Machine, WWE, Final Boss, some of this other stuff I'm doing, I'm getting up and I'm running towards it, and I could just give all my passion to it. And it's all about, these days for me, building new mountain. And what does that look like? So thank you, man. Thank you, everybody, so much. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good night. Thank you.